Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Samie and I welcome you all to eAcademe from the platform of CA Educationist. In this video, we will discuss the method of adjusting material input due to change in loss ratio or loss percentage. One of the troublesome calculations for the students of cost accounting is to compute the revised gross material input required to produce 1 unit of a product if the loss percentage of material input changes. For example, in addition to other materials, we input and process milk to produce cheese. Assume that currently 4% of the milk input is lost during production of 1 kilogram of cheese. As a result of some improvements, now only 1% of the milk is expected to be lost during production. The question arises, how much gross quantity of milk should now be introduced for production of required cheese? This gross input of material, which is milk in our example, is also known as pre-loss or before-loss material input. Before discussing the treatment, it is important to mention here that net weight of material or after-loss material or post-loss material in 1 unit of a product constitutes the recipe of any product. That is, net weight of material indicates that this much material must be present in 1 unit of a product after all the processing losses. This net weight stays fixed and is not subjected to change unless the recipe is altered. For example, it is the recipe of 1 bottle of beverage that it must contain 0.98 liters of water. It means whatever quantity of water was put into process to produce a bottle, the final quantity of water that must be present in a bottle must be 0.98 liters after all losses. Now, depending upon how much water is expected to be lost during production, gross quantity of water must be introduced accordingly. If loss percentage is high, high quantity of water must be introduced. With less loss percentage, low quantity of water would be required. This means if we know 2 things. Number 1, the net weight of material required to be present in 1 unit of a product, and number 2, loss percentage. We can compute the gross material input. This can be computed through this formula. Gross material input is equal to net weight of material required divided by 1 minus loss percentage. In case of our example, if net weight of 0.98 liters of water is required to be present in a bottle and 10% water is lost during production, gross input of water will be calculated as 0.98 divided by 0.9 equals 1.088 liters. It means the key variables to compute gross material input are always number 1, net weight of material required per unit, and number 2, expected loss percentage. If you have both of these, you can work back to compute gross material input. Let us now come back to our main problem. What if you are given number 1, gross material input that you are currently introducing, and number 2, existing loss percentage, and you are told that loss percentage is now expected to change due to process improvements? What should be the revised gross material input in this situation? As we have just concluded that one of the key variables to compute gross material input is net weight of material required per unit. So, we must first calculate this value. This can be computed by first applying the factor of 1 minus loss percentage on existing gross material input. This will provide you with net weight of material or after loss material required per unit, which is a recipe. That's it. You can now work it back with revised loss percentage to compute revised gross material input. For example, you are currently introducing 4 kilograms of material into process when the loss is 10% of input. And you are told that now revised loss percentage is expected to be only 3%. It is understood that now less material has to be introduced because less input is expected to be lost. Now, revised gross material input will be calculated in 2 steps. First, you must calculate net weight of material that is required per unit. This can be computed by multiplying 4 kilograms with 90%. This provides the after-loss material of 3.6 kilograms per unit. In the second step, you can work it back to compute revised gross material input. Just divide 3.6 kilograms with 0.97. This will give you the revised gross material input of 3.71 kilograms. Since losses are expected to be 3% instead of 10%, revised input of 3.71 kilograms is now less than the existing input of 4 kilograms. Thank you for watching the video. For more videos, keep watching the series of eAcademe from the platform of CA Educationist by Samie. For any queries, you may WhatsApp or email at the given contact details.